Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the last class, we discussed the concept of total utility, the marginal utility, and how to calculate the marginal utility when we have different values of the total utility. Today, inshallah, we are going to discuss the consumer equilibrium under the marginal utility theory. So, let's start in the following example. Suppose that we have the following information about a consumer who consumes two products, product X and Y. We have two products, product X and Y. Utility of X, marginal utility of Y, MUX over P. This is the value of a quantity or the quantity of X and Y. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Quantity 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Suppose that the total utility of X, this is the total utility of X, 0, 16, 30, 41, 51, 60, 68, 75, 81, 86, 89. The total utility of Y, 0, 15, 28, 40, 48, 54, 59, 36, 66, 68, 69. The question is, what are the equilibrium quantities of X and Y that maximize the total utility for the consumer? The question is, what are the equilibrium quantities of X and Y that maximize the total utility of the consumer? As you see that we have one consumer who consumes two products, product X and product Y. When he consumes 1 unit of X, the total utility gained or obtained is 16. When he consumes 2 units of X. Suppose also that we have information about the consumer income and the prices of X and Y. So if income of the consumer income equals $20 a day, the price of X equals $2 per unit, the price of Y equals $2 per unit, right? The question is, what are the equilibrium quantities of X and Y that the consumer can consume in order to maximize his total utility, right? To maximize the total utility, we have two conditions. The first one is, the first condition for equilibrium or for the consumer equilibrium is when the marginal utility of X over the price of X equals marginal utility of Y over the price of Y, or the marginal utility for the last dollar spent on the product X equals the marginal utility for the last dollar spent on Y, right? So this is the first condition. The second condition is that the consumer spends all of his income to buy or to purchase two goods, X and Y. So he distributes his income to buy two products, X and Y. So the second condition is income equals the price of X times quantity of X plus the price of Y times the quantity of Y. This is the second condition. If we meet these two conditions, we can determine how much does the consumer buy of X and or Y, or the quantity demanded of X and a quantity purchased of Y that maximize the total utility of the consumer. To start answering this question, we have to calculate the marginal utility of X, the marginal utility of Y, MUX over PX, MUY over PY, and determine where does the first condition achieved, right? So MUX, MUY, MUX over PX, MUY over PY. And as you know that the marginal utility of X, MUX, equals delta TU X over delta Q of X. And the marginal utility of Y equals delta TU of Y, the change in total utility of Y over delta Q of Y, right? So in the first case, there is no change. Then MUX delta TX 16 minus 0 over 1 minus 0, 16. For the first case, MUX1 equals 16 minus 0 over 1 minus 0 equals 16 over 1 equals 16. So the first case is 16. Then 30 minus 16 over 2 minus 1, 14. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3. Right? This is the marginal utility of X. Let's calculate the marginal utility of Y by using this formula. MUY, the first case, at the marginal at the quantity 0, there is no change in the marginal utility. And then if we added a 1 unit of Y, the marginal utility of Y equals delta TU over delta Q. 15 minus 0 over 1 minus 0. 15 over 1, 15. 28 minus 15 over 2 minus 1. How much? 13. Then 12, 8, 4, sorry, 14, 8, 6, yes. Then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These are the values of the marginal utility of X and Y. Let's calculate the marginal utility for the last dollar spent on X, or the marginal utility of X over PX. The marginal utility of X for the first case is unknown, and then marginal utility of X 16 over the price of X. Price of X is 2, as you see. So the first case is MUX 16 over 2 equals 8. This is the first case. And then the second case, 14 over 2, 7, 5.5, 10 over 2, 5, 9 over 2, 4.5, 8 over 2, 4, 7 over 2, 3.5, 3, 2.5, and 1.5. This is the marginal utility for the last dollar spent on X. MUY over PY. MUY, 15 over 2. 15 over the price of Y, 2, 7.5. 6.5. 6, 4, 3, 2.5, 2, 1.5, 1, half, 0.5, right? So let's test the first condition under these results. As we explained that the first condition is met when the marginal utility of X over Px equals the marginal utility of Y over Py. So let us take the first case. At 8, in this column 8, is there any other 8 in the marginal utility of Y? No. 7, there is no 7. 5.5, is there 5? No. 5, no. 4.5, no. 4, yes. So this is 4 and 4. So the first condition is met under 4 when the marginal utility of X over Px equals marginal utility of Y over Py. What else? 3.5, no. 3, yes. 3 and the 3. Where is the 3 in the second column? 2.5, yes. 1.5, yes. So as you see that the first condition is met under 4 cases or in 4 cases, right? So we can say that the first condition is met or achieved at 4 cases. The first condition, is met under 4 cases. اللي 4, 3, 2.5 and 1.5. These 4 cases met the first condition. What about the second condition? So we have to test the second condition. The second condition, as we mentioned, when the consumer income I equals price of X times QX plus PY times QY. This is the second condition. So let's take the first case when or at 4, when the marginal utility of the last dollar spent on X and Y are equals at 4. At 4, I, how much is I? 20 must equal the price of X is 2 times the quantity of X at 4. At 4, as you see, it's related to X. At 4, the quantity of X is how much? 6. right? X, 6, plus the price of Y. Price of Y is 2 times the quantity of Y at 4. It's related to Y. This column is related to Y. So at 4, the quantity of Y is 4. So 20 must equal 12 plus 8. So the first condition is met, or we achieve the second condition at 4. So we have to advise the consumer to purchase or to buy 6 units of X and 4 units of Y. Sometimes if we do a test for the other cases, the second condition would not met, right? Let's do a test for the other cases. At 3, 20 must equal to the price of X times the quantity of X at the 3. 8 plus 2 the price of Y times the quantity of Y at 3. 5. In this case, 20 must equal 16 plus 10. Yes, it's not achieved. Yes, so the first condition or the second condition is not met or has not met in this case. And the other cases, it would not met as well. So the second condition would be met only in a one case, in the first case, right? If we do a test for the other cases which have achieved the first condition, we will not reach to the equilibrium. So at 2.5, 20 must equal 2 times the quantity of X at 2.5, 9, plus 2 times how much? 6. 20 must equal 18 plus 12. It's not met. It doesn't meet or meet the second condition. So there is only one case meet the second condition. Although we have 4 cases meet the first condition. صح؟ طيب. So we advise the consumer to buy 6 units of X and 4 units of Y. Why? Because this case, under this case, the first and second condition are met. Right? Okay. Yes. And this case, if he consumes 6 units of X and 4 units of Y, he will maximize the total utility. Right? Okay. Suppose that the income or the consumer income increased to 26. What are the new equilibrium quantities if the price of X remains constant, remains 2, and the price of Y remains 2 as well? So suppose that the price or the consumer income, if the consumer income increased to 26, if the consumer income increased to 26 instead of 20? What are the new equilibrium quantities of X and Y that maximize the total utility for the consumer? We have to do a test for the second condition. In this case, we have to change the consumer income, and still the prices are constant, the price of X and the price of Y would remain constant. So in this case, when the income increased to 26, we have to change the results here. 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, 26. In which case the second condition is met at the 3. So in the first case, as you see, the left side is 26 and the summation of the right side is 20. They are not equals, right? In the second case, when income increased to 26, in this case it equals to the right side, because this is the total income, or the consumer income is 26, and the right side is 26. So I advise the consumer to buy how much? 8 units of X and 5 units of Y, right? So calculate the income elasticity of demand for X and Y, or X, and state or explain the value or the type of the product X. As you know, this is the consumer income. The quantity of X, when the consumer income was 20, how much does the consumer buy of X? 6 units of X. صح؟ هيو كان بيشتريهن. مظبوط؟ When the income increased to 26, the consumer, or the quantity that we advise, or the quantity that maximize the total utility, it changed to 8, right? So this is 8. The question is, calculate the income elasticity of demand. To calculate the income elasticity of demand, when the price of X and the price of Y remains constant, or remain constant, calculate income elasticity of demand for the product X. By using the midpoint formula. Using the midpoint formula. This is I1, I2, Q1, QX1, QX2. So the midpoint formula to calculate income elasticity of demand, the midpoint EI equals delta QX over delta I times I2 minus I1 over QX2 minus QX1, right? Sorry, plus summation. Yes. So EI equals qx2 minus qx1 over I2 minus I1 times summation of income I2 plus I1 over qx2 plus qx1. So EI equals 8 minus 6 over I2 26 minus 20 times the summation of I 46 over 8 plus 6 or 6 plus 8 14. So EI 2 over 6 times 46 over 14. How much? 7. 46 over 42. So the demand or the product is normal. Why? Yes, positive 1 point, maybe 1. So as you see, the income elasticity of demand equals positive 1. This means when income increased from 20 to 26, the quantity demanded of X increased from 6 to 8. In this case, the product is normal, or the good is normal, and the demand is elastic. It's close to a unitary elastic, right? Okay. Suppose that the consumer income is 20. Another question. Suppose that the consumer income remains constant at 20 and the prices of X declined to 1. Calculate the new equilibrium quantities of X and Y. The question is, suppose that the consumer income is 20, remains constant, I equals 20. The price of X declined to 1, and the price of Y remains constant at 2. Calculate the new equilibrium quantity that, or quantities of X and Y that maximize the total utility for the consumer. When the price of X declined, to 1, we have different or other values for the MUX over PX, but MUY over PY will remains constant. صح? So we have to do a change for the marginal utility of X over PX. And do a test for the first condition and the second condition. So the question is, if the price of X declined to 1, the price of Y remains constant and income remains constant as well. So calculate the new equilibrium quantities of X and Y. So MUX over PX. MUX is 16 over the new price of X1. 16 over 1, 16. 14. The same column because we divided it on 1. So 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So as we see, we have new values for the marginal utility of X over PX and the same numbers for the MUY over PY, right? So let's test the first condition, which is MUX over PX equals the first condition when MUX over PX equals MUY over PY. MUX over PX equals MUY over PY. This is the first condition. 16, there is no 16. 14, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, at 6, and at this column, this is 6 and 6. 5, there is no 5. 3 and the 3. So the first condition is met under two cases, right? Or at two cases. The first condition, the first condition is met at two cases اللي هم 6 and 3 plus PY times QY. At 6, the consumer's income is 20 must equal the price of X. How much? 1 times the quantity of X plus, okay, the quantity of X at 6, how much? 8, yes. Plus the price of Y is 2 times how much?
3.
Excellent. 3 at 6 here. 3. So 20 must equal 8 plus 6. It doesn't or did not meet or it doesn't meet the condition, the second condition. Let's go to the second at 3. 20 must equal 1 times how much does the value of a quantity of X or the quantity of X? 10 plus how much? 2 times how much? 3, 5, yes. 20, yes, achieved or met. So 20 equals 10 plus 10, so it has been met, right? So I advise the consumer to buy 10 units of X and 5 units of Y, which maximize the total utility for the consumer. So if the consumer buys 10 units of X and 5 units of Y, these quantities will what? Will obtain the equilibrium or the maximum utility for the consumer, right? Okay. So the question is, calculate the price elasticity of demand for the product X. We have another question, which is, calculate the price elasticity of demand when the price of X decline. Calculate the price elasticity of demand for the product X. Calculate price elasticity of demand for the product X. To calculate the price using the midpoint formula. Let's draw the table. This is the price of X, a quantity demanded of X. At price 2, when the price of X was 2, how much does the quantity demanded of X? 6. At or when the price is 1, when the price of X declined to 1, as you see here, the quantity of X is 10 units. To calculate the price elasticity of demand for the product X, by using the midpoint formula, ED equals delta Q X over delta P X times PX1 plus PX2 over QX1 plus QX2. This is the midpoint formula. And in this table, we can see this is the price of X1, P2, Q1, Q2. So, ED equals delta Q 10 minus 6 over 1 minus 2 times summation of the price is 3 over 16. ED equals 4 over 1 or minus 1 times the 3 over 16. 1, 4. So ED equals 3 over minus 4 equals minus 0.75. Okay. So the demand is inelastic. Okay. We have another question. Draw the demand curve. Draw the demand curve. أمسح هذا. Okay. Draw the demand curve for the product X. Draw the demand curve for the product X. As you see, we have 2 points of X for the prices of X and the quantities. This is the price of X, quantity demanded of X. The price is 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. The quantity demanded 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. At the price 1 or the price 2, the quantity demanded is 6. Suppose it was point A. At the price 1, the quantity demanded is 10. At the price 1, the quantity demanded is 10. Suppose it was point E. If we connect these points together, we will reach to the demand curve. This is the demand curve for the product X, right? I have another question. As we have seen that the price, when the price increased, the quantity demanded decline, and the price elasticity of demand or the demand is inelastic, right? Who will be the tax burden, or the most or the least of tax burden? Yes, excellent, excellent. Why? Because demand is inelastic. Excellent. Okay, so as we mentioned, or as we see that when demand is inelastic, the consumer will bear the most of tax burden, right? What about the total revenue? Would it increase or decrease? The decreasing of the price from 2 to 1, the total revenue would what? Would decline. Excellent, because the demand is inelastic. So, as you see, if we try to calculate the total revenue, this is the total revenue. In this case, price times the quantity, 12. 1 times 10, 10. So, as you see, when the price declined from 2 to 1, the total revenue declined. because the demand is inelastic, right? Okay. Calculate or draw the demand curve for the product Y, not X. Here, now we are talking about the product Y. Calculate or draw the demand curve for the product Y, not X. Draw the demand curve for the product Y. Draw the demand curve for the product Y. As you know that the prices of Y would not change or did not change. So this is the price of Y, quantity of Y, and let's calculate then the total revenue. So here we are talking about the price of Y and the quantity demanded of Y. In the first case, the price of Y was 2. How much did the quantity demanded of Y? It was 4. Then the price of Y would not change or did not change. 2. The quantity demanded changed to what? How much can it? 5. So let's draw the demand curve for Y. Price 1, 2, 3. This is the price of Y, quantity demanded of Y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At price 2, the first price at price 2, the quantity demanded of Y was 4. 2 and 4. Point A. Point B, at price 2, the quantity demanded is 5. So the demand for the product Y is perfectly elastic. Yes. Although the prices of X or Y remains constant, the quantity demanded changed. Right? Okay. Who will bear the most or the least or the full or the whole of tax burden if who? Who's? The producer, yes. The producer will bear the whole of tax burden if the government imposed or sets a tax of or on the product B, or sorry, Y. Right? Tamam? Okay. Let's take another exercise or example related to the consumer equilibrium using the marginal utility theory. Suppose that we have a consumer, and this consumer consumes two products, product A and the product B. The consumer consumes two products, product A and product B. For the product A, this is another example. The consumer consumes two products, product A and the product B. Let's draw the table here. One, two, three, 4. A quantity demanded of A, total utility of A, marginal utility of A, and the MUA over PA. The quantities are from 1 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Suppose that the total utility of the product A, this information are related to the product A. The total utility of the product A were as follow: 40, 70, 90, 100, 105, 107. The information for related to the product B are as follows. This table is related to the product B. From 1 to 13, this is a quantity demanded of B, total utility of B, marginal utility of B, MUB over PB. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And the total utility of the product B are as follows: 15, 23, 30, 35, 38, 40.5, 42.5, 44, 45, 45.75, 46.25, 46.5, 46.5 as well. If the price of A, PAF, price of A equals 2 and the price of B equals 0.5 or half, and the consumer income equals 8, what are the equilibrium quantities of A and B that maximize the total utility or the utility for the consumer? To calculate the equilibrium quantities of A and B, we have to calculate the marginal utility of A and marginal utility of B. Marginal utility of A over PA and must equal the marginal utility of B over PB, right? So let's start to calculate the marginal utility of A. At point 1, the total utility must equal the marginal utility of A. So 40. Then 70 minus 40 over 2 minus 1. As you know that MUA equals delta Q or delta TU A over delta Q. So 70 minus 30 over 2 minus 1. 30, 20, 10, 5, 2. Right? Okay. Let's calculate the marginal utility of A over PA. This is the marginal utility for the last dollar spent on the product A. MUA over the price of A, 2 over 2, 20, 15, 10, 5, 2.5, 1. What about the second product or the product B. For the product B, the marginal utility of B, 15. 23 minus 15 over 2 minus 1. How much? 8. Then 7, 5, 3, 2.5. How much? 2. 1.5. 1. 0.75. How much? Half. 0.25. And the last one, 0. To calculate the marginal utility for the last dollar spent on the product B is MUB over PB. 15 over half. طبعا times 2. Yes. 15 times 2 or over half. 30, 16, 14, 10, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.5, 1, 0.5, 0. Right? To calculate the equilibrium quantities of X and Y, or A and B, that maximize the total utility for the consumer, we have, as we explained, that we have two conditions. The first one is MUA over PA must equal MUB over PB. This is the first condition for equilibrium. Where does it achieve or meet? Let us take the cases of MUA over PA and compare it with MUB over PB. Case or one by one. In the first case, 20. There is no 20. 15. No. 10, yes. 10 and 10. 5, yes. 2.5. Are there 2.5? No. 1, yes. 1, yes, available. So, the first condition is met. The first condition is met at 3 cases. These cases are 10, 5, and 1, and 1, and 1. 10, 5, and 1. So let's do the second, or test the second condition. The second condition met at I equal, or when I equals PA times QA plus PB times QB. Or income is how much? The first condition, or at 10. Let us take these three cases one by one. Test the 3 cases one by one. So at A, income is 8, must equal the price of A is 2 times the quantity of A at 10. The quantity of A at 10 is how much? 3. Yes, 3 plus the price of B, half, times the quantity of B at 10, 4. Yes. So 8 must equal 2 times 3, 6, plus 2, achieved or met. There is no need to test the other cases 5 and 1 when the first one, or the first case, achieved or met. So I advise the consumer to buy a 3 unit of X or A and 4 units of B. right? Okay. I have a question. Sometimes, or as we know that these quantities of A and B maximize the total utility of the consumer, right? Okay, so let us draw and analyze this issue. We have, suppose that we have the following table. This is the quantity of A, quantity of B, the total utility of A, the total utility of B, the total utility, the summation of total utility when the consumer consumes A and B. As we explained that we advise the consumer to buy how much? 3 of A, 3 units of A and 4 units of B. Yani 3A and 4B, right? And we said that these quantities of A and B would maximize the total utility of the consumer. So at the quantity of A, how much? 3. The quantity of B is 4. At the quantity of A, when the quantity of A equals 3, how much does the total utility? 90. In this case, the total utility of A is 90. And when the consumer consumes 4 units of B, 4 units of B, the total utility equals 35 in this case. How much is the total utility? Total utility of A plus total utility of B, the total utility equals 125. Sometimes we can find other quantities of X meet the second condition but not the first condition. Like when the consumer consumes 2 units of A and 8 units of B. If the consumer consumes consumed 2 units and 8 units of B. Let's test the second condition. The second condition is I equals PA times QA plus PB times QB, right? I is how much? 8. Equals the price of A is 2 times the quantity of A, 2, plus the price of B is half, and the quantity is how much? Yes, 8. So the second condition, 4 plus 4, it has been met in this case. But what about the first condition? In this case, or let's calculate the total utility. When the consumer consumes 2 units of A and 4 or 8 units of B, the second condition is met. In this case, when the quantity of A is 2, how much is the total utility of A? 70. At 2, the total utility is 70. And at 8, when the quantity of B is 8, how much does the total utility of B? At 8, The total utility of B is 44. How much does the total utility? 114. Which combination of the quantity of X and Y, or A and B, gives the consumer maximum utility? The first combination, because the first combination, 3 units of A and 4, yes, because it meets the two conditions, first condition and the second. Let us test this, or when the consumer consumes 2 units of A and 8 of B, does the first condition achieved or meet? We will see. Let us do a test. The first condition is MUA over PA must equal MUB over PB, right? When the consumer consumes 2 units of A, how much is the marginal utility of A? At the quantity 2, how much is the marginal utility of A? 30. 30 over half. 15 is larger than 3. So the first condition is not achieved, right? So in this case, although the second condition is met, the first condition does not meet or achieve. It has not achieved, right? We have another case. Meets the second condition. If we, over the consumer, consumes 1 units of A and 10 units of B. 12 units of B, yes. In this case, if the consumer consumes 1 unit of A and 12 units of B, let us do the second condition. 8 equals the price of A, 2, times the quantity of A, 1, plus the price of B, half, times 12. 8 must equal 2.2 plus 6. It has been achieved or met, right? So, but what about the second condition, the first condition? For the, I don't know, we have to do the test here. The first condition is MUX over P, or MUA over PA must equal MUP over BB. So, MUA at quantity 1, at the quantity 1, MUA equals 40, yes. So, 40 over 2 must equal MUP at 12. At 12, MU equals 0.25 over half. So, it doesn't equal. So, 20 is larger than 2. Oh, sorry, half. So the second condition did not or has not achieved, right? Or met, right? So, in this case, let's calculate the total utility of A, the total utility of B, and the total utility as well. At A, or the quantity of A, the total utility of A is how much? 40. The quantity of B, at the quantity of B, 46.5. The summation of these 86.5. So the combination, or the best combination, A and 4 units of B, which meets the two conditions, the first and second condition, right? Okay, يعطيكم العافية.